Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
You've heard Jim Hansen before, of course, who's the owner of the franchise Seniors Helping Seniors, South Palm Beach County. And also, we've talked about if anyone wants to be a franchisee, he's the one you have to talk to. So, good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
I'm so overwhelmed with Mother Teresa and what just happened. And I really would like you to share why you even got involved with Seniors Helping Seniors and what that's all about.
Oh, what wonderful news that we received from Pope Francis that she is going to be canonized and she's no longer going to be Mother Teresa, she's going to become Saint Teresa, which is...
Oh, no, we have to call her Mother Teresa.
I'm sure she'll be maybe it'll be Saintly Mother.
Okay, we have to keep her name.
Absolutely. But, to us as an organization, the culture of our company has been, I think, really stamped by the heart and soul of Mother Teresa. Our founder, Karen, when she was a very young girl, I think she was 7 years old, and I've told this story, but I can never tell it enough. She got her allowance. She was wealthy. She was in royalty in India, and she got her first allowance. And she said to her driver, who was a Christian driver, "Where can I go and help people? I now have some money to be able to give." And so that showed her heart from the very beginning. And the driver said, "Well, I know where I can bring you, but if I bring you there, your parents may fire me." And little 7-year-old said, "If you don't take me there, I'll have my parents fire you." So Karen, our founder, had a beautiful heart, but yet at the same time, she was very feisty too. It's very similar to Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was many people only know the one side of her, which is the loving, but boy, she was a savvy business person. She got things accomplished in many ways. So anyways, Karen ended up doing this for the next 7 years. She would go every single month to someplace, and the driver would get out of the car, bring the money in, and then they would go on their way. Well, after doing this for so many years, a nun came out to the car and said, "Who's giving all this money every month?" And the driver said, "It's the young lady that's in the car," now Karen being 14 years of age. And so she said, "You wait right here." And the nun went back inside and came out with Mother Teresa. And Karen then began a 14-year journey with Mother Teresa.
Goosebumps. I have goosebumps every time he tells this story.
It's amazing. Karen was Hindu. Mother Teresa ended up converting her to Christianity. Mother Teresa gave her first set of rosary beads, and she said, "These are my rosary beads. You now pray with them." Taught her to pray, and it's a wonderful story. Karen said she went home and she prayed and she prayed and she prayed, and she, after doing it for 2 months as friendly, she came back to Mother Teresa and said, "Here's your rosary beads back. I don't. Your God doesn't listen." And she said, and that was what Karen said. Mother Teresa had this little thing that she would always go, "Sit down, my child." And because Karen said Mother Teresa was never one to take Jesus Christ very loosely. So she said, "All right, you tell me, how did you tell me how you prayed?" And Karen said, "Well, I talked and I talked and I talked and I talked and I talked." And so Mother Teresa said, "So let me see if I understand this. You talked and God listened. When did you have time to listen to God?" And Karen said, "Huh." So she went back and she said, from that point on, she said, "I stopped talking and I spent the rest of my time always listening for what God had to say." And so that was her conversion to Christianity. And, Seniors Helping Senior is not, we're not affiliated any longer with the sisterhood or anything of that. It was just Karen's experience. But the culture that Karen brought to our company is a result of those years of being with her. I mean, she spent time on the streets of New Delhi with leprosy and children dying, and Mother Teresa, she couldn't do it all, but Mother Teresa did all that she could, and that's sort of what Karen's philosophy is.
I love that. Hey, how come you've been on the show so many times and I never heard you tell the story this way? There were things in there you never told me.
I gotta have more stories for you. I can't just tell the same story over and over again.
God, I never know. You didn't tell me all those little bits and pieces.
Well, since we've got a couple of minutes, but let me tell you, because I talked about the business savvy of Mother Teresa. This was a story that Karen told too, which, since we're talking about the sainthood of Mother Teresa.
We're going to have to send this show to Karen,
Yeah. So anyways, it was very interesting. Mother Teresa was on an airline, and she was heading back to Calcutta. And so when they started to take the lunch order, Mother Teresa said to the stewardess, she said, how much is it cost to provide these lunches? And the stewardess said, probably about $5. And Mother Teresa said, I don't want mine. Would you see if they would just donate the $5 to our cause? And so the stewardess just took $5. It was Mother Teresa. So she just took $5 out of her pocket and said, here. And Mother Teresa was very thankful. And then a couple of minutes later, Mother Teresa said, stewardess, since you were so generous, would you make an announcement on the plane to see if anybody else would give up their lunch and donate the $5? And now the stewardess said, well, let me go talk to the captain, because the captain was, So the captain said, well, it is Mother Teresa. Well, go ahead, make the announcement. So it turned out that about 90% of the plane gave up their lunch, and the airline, they were smart too. They said, we'll have a check ready for you when you arrive in Calcutta. So she virtually was able to get the entire plane to donate their lunch instead of eating it. But she wasn't done.
I love this.
Just before the plane landed, she said to the stewardess, what are you going to do with all those lunches that we're not eating?
This is fantastic.
And the stewardess says, well, we're going to have to, we're going to have to throw them away. She says, well, why would you donate them to me so that I can bring them onto the streets? And that's one story that I'm
going home.
That I know. But what a wonderful, that was her way of doing things. So it's really.
And I have felt that way about you and your organization. So that's so important. I think you would have been this way whether you were affiliated with the great organization anyway, Seniors Helping Seniors. But it does show where they always say it starts at the top. And that's really what happened. It gave you then even more opportunity to do it. Because, a lot of times the corporate people who you would have to be dealing with would not be like this. And you're fighting them. But now it's perfect.
It is. It really is a company. We have trademarks that are very unique to our brand. We have Why Not Love. That's a trademark. Only Seniors Helping Seniors can do that. As part of our training to our franchise partners, we have a Why Not Love training. And then we also have as a registered trademark, the Power of Love. And that's a registered trademark. So again, you don't find that in corporate America today. It's very, very unique. And we're not like another franchise. We talked a little bit at the beginning of the show here about franchise opportunities. And, a lot of franchises, if you can fog a mirror and sign a check, you're a franchise partner. That's just not the way we do things. We have an 8-step process that We call it a mutual due diligence process because not only do we want to make sure that the decision's right for our franchise partner, but we want to make sure that the franchise partner is right for our company. So we go through a very lengthy process of making sure that, we say to people, we're looking for people that want to do good and make good money, but in that order. So you have to have the right heart first. It's all about the heart. And if the heart's there, the money's going to follow because you can be genuine. Dan just got my article for next month's, but again, it was Oscar Wilde sort of was the person that stimulated my next article, which is, be yourself because everybody else is taken.
Oh no, I didn't get to read that yet. Oh my gosh.
But I talk about the fact that, our clients and our caregivers are masterpieces. And
I saw the name Masterpiece, and that's what it was
that's
all
what
about.
it's about. It's the fact that, we are one of a kind. And isn't that what a masterpiece is? It's the artist's best work. And we are our best work because nobody is going to be on this earth prior to us, and nobody is going to be like us after we're gone. So the one period of time that we have right now in our life is our uniqueness, and we bring that uniqueness to the universe.
And I'm glad, and you bring it to your clients. And I think it's a good time now to talk about this. So many people, and you know this, they'll look up, hopefully they went to Boomer Times and they call you from there, if they go on the internet or whatever they get. First thing they want to know is, what's the cost? And I know that. And what they should be saying is, what are the people like that come? Not what is the cost, right?
Well, it should be what's the value.
Yeah, what's the value?
What's the value? Because, as we've shared, don't we all want a personal assistant? Don't we want somebody that's going to maybe not do the things that we can't do anymore? It could be the things that we can't do, but it's also the things that we don't want to do anymore. So why don't we do that for you? Why don't you let our masterpiece take care of your masterpiece?
I love it. So Dan, don't get any ideas. He's going to want a personal assistant very soon. That's it. He's still sitting here.
But that's what we try to do. We try to, and I've shared this before. It's not like we're just going to come and you need transportation to the doctors. We're going to come to your house. We're going to say, before we take you to the doctors, do you need your linens changed? We'll strip your bed. We'll throw that in the washing machine, and then we'll go and take you to the doctors. And we're not going to just drop you off at the doctor's. We're gonna make sure we go into the doctor's office with you. We're going to hear things so that if you get a little confused, we're going to be there to be able to tell you exactly what the doctor had to say. And we can also then tell your loved ones what good news, bad news, changes, whatever they might be. And Dr. Mencia said it very well the last time we were all together. The caregiver is a very vital part, and caregiver or assistant, whatever. The person that's there a lot in the home is a very vital part of the wellness program for that particular senior.
It's the advocate.
Yeah, it's the advocate, and they also are there on a daily basis, and they see the changes, good, bad, or indifferent, that person's going through. So if a doctor is really wise, like Dr. Mencia, he turns to that care provider and says, tell me about Mrs. Jones and how has she been the last month? That care provider gives more insight into the life of Mrs. Jones than anybody that family members, because she's there or that person's there. So getting back, we'll do that. We then, if there's a prescription change, we'll bring them to the pharmacy, which now is in the grocery stores. So why not drop that off? If we go grocery shopping, we'll pick up some food so that when we go back, we can take those linens, throw them back into the dryer, start to prepare a few meals, and pick up the house a little bit while everything's drying, and then we're off.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Pure gold.
Yes. So it's not like you're just spending 4 hours of time for little.
I have a new idea. 4 hours of Mother Teresa.
Boy,
That's not bad.
no, that's priceless. That's priceless.
Well, and you are too. And I've heard such good things about it. And of course, I've known that. And when I think about it, when you were, of course, so successful with your other franchise, Subway, little did you know that you were going to get into something like this. And I think people would like to know why you did because of, your own personal experience.
Yeah, I was working as a consultant for an advertising agency because of my franchising background and my marketing background, and I was looking to match up brands with this agency. And when I was down in Miami, I came across Seniors Helping Seniors, and the Seniors Helping Seniors didn't fit the bill that I was doing for the consulting work, but something tugged at my heart when I started to look at the material, talk to the people that were at the booth, who happened to be Karen, that I later found out was our founder. But it was the my past, my love for my grandmother that sort of was the genesis of all this. I was exactly the Seniors Helping Seniors assistant for my grandmother. I mean, I did all the things that we do. And my grandmother, until 88 years old, was still cleaning houses, which today I'm looking at. My wife and I cleaned our house last weekend, and
You're
then
exhausted.
we were exhausted. and my grandmother did this for a living. I mean, it was like, wow.
Why she lived so long.
And that's why she lived so long. Now, at the age of 88, she was in a fatal car accident, fatal being to my uncle, who lived with her. And so for the next 8 years, my grandmother lived by herself, which is why I became such a vital part of her life, because now I was the one that took her grocery shopping. I took her to the doctors. I took her to get her 7 blue hairs done.
That story.
Oh, she was so adorable
great.
because, she would come out with, she had like 7 hairs on her head that were like a bluish color, and she was as happy as a lark. She was proud as a peacock. She would come out of that. And, I would help her. She loved to cook. And I was an idiot because all these wonderful family recipes that she made a clam pie, right? Now, who would heard? Yeah, everybody's heard of a chicken pot pie, and everybody's heard of,
With clams
but she made it with clams instead of, so it was like almost a clam chowder pie. And I
love
never
that idea.
It was wonderful, and I never got the recipe. The potatoes and I kicked myself, and my wife's not too happy with me either.
You have to try it. I mean, it seems like it could be pretty simple.
Well, yeah, but you got to have that loving touch. But
Before we finish, wait, I've got to tell people because they're chomping at the bit. Okay, well, how do I get them? I need them. Okay, phone number is 561-392-4846. Now, Jim may not be answering the phone because they have a great person who does that, but this is the number if you do want either to have their care for someone you love or yourself. That's 561-392-4846. Or if you're one of those entrepreneurs who have a heart, a Mother Teresa heart, and you want to become a franchisee, just tell the person that answers the phone, and they'll be happy to do that. Okay, you can. Well, wait, one more thing. Let me get you on the web. The web is seniorshelpingseniors.com. Seniorshelpingseniors.com. 561-392-4846.
That's right.
Okay, you can finish your story.
I don't even remember.
Well, we were talking how you got involved in this.
Yeah, and let me just interject for a second, because we do have, still in Broward County, we have three still open territories. We're almost sold out in Broward County, but we do have Hollywood, we do have Plantation, and we do have Coral Springs still available.
I told you, I think I have a woman who really
Wonderful.
is very interested, right?
So anyways, call and we'll get the process started. But to finish with my grandmother, it was just, I did everything. She cleaned houses, so I had to move furniture, and we cleaned behind things, and she was a stickler for her own home, and she was the one that went her bedroom and her bathroom. She lived in a townhouse, and so she, at the age of 88 to age 96, she was going up and down the stairs.
Fantastic.
And unfortunately, at the age of 96, she got a bowel obstruction, and she had to have an operation at 96. And they went in, and it was successful. They were amazed. She recovered, but the doctor said, "I'm sorry, Gladys, you can't live in your home any longer, because you can't go up and down the stairs." And so my poor grandmother, at that time, my family had the only choice of, back then, it was just a nursing home. And within 3 months after that, going into a nursing home, she shriveled up, and we lost her. So for me personally, I saw how one person could make such a huge difference, and not in a very, I wasn't a medical student. I was just a loving person that cared for my grandmother and was able to do the things that were allowed her to remain independent for the rest of her life. But I also saw the other side, and how when you take somebody out of their home and out of their memories and put them in a strange place, and again, please understand that back then, compared to where we are today in skilled nursing facilities, it's like night and day.
Well, sometimes it's very appropriate, but I think more than not, it's your situation. And I think if you were around and she were around now doing this, you would have set her up on the first floor so she wouldn't have had to go upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a lot of aspects, and I think you said it so well. You will come in, your organization, and look at everything and figure out, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay here? Let's figure out how you can stay here. We're going to make sure you have meals. We make sure you get to the movies. Star Wars. She would have loved Star Wars. It's just coming out.
The Force was with her.
Right. Good. The Force was with her. You're really on this morning.
I had a cup of coffee before I got here.
Look out, world. But, Jim, it's always so wonderful having you here and doing this. And, of course, Dr. Mencia has just come in, and he heard you. I hope he heard you blessing him, with we were just raving about Mother Teresa, and he's shaking his head and all. I mean, I don't, Dan, it's the first time Dan has really come and said, now do you know why people say, how do you get up at 5 a.m? I said, I love this. Do you see what's happening this morning at 5 a.m? It is joyful, isn't it?
I'll be here next week.
Oh, he's in trouble.
You got
He wants to be a co-host. I can see it happening already, right? I'm losing
You're going to be mentoring him.
Oh, no,
just like
listen,
Mother Teresa.
He mentors me all the time. He's a fast study. But, Dan, even you, when you think about it, I'm going to put you back on the air. His mother and father, his father has some very serious illness. Of course, his father didn't live here, or I'm sure he would have called you to help, because it was all on Dan and his sister, and Dan didn't know what the heck he was supposed to be doing. And his father made it because they had that familial dedication, or his father wouldn't. I think
right.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. He had triple bypass surgery earlier in the year, and he, 81 years old, didn't recover the way that we all expected. So advocacy was of the utmost importance. If I wasn't there, I honestly don't know if he would have made it.
Right.
And I have to interrupt that he has a wife.
Yeah.
But...
Well, my mom was so overwhelmed.
Well, that's the thing. We find that, the spouse, many times the caregiver is the one that predeceases the client because of the exhaustion.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're starting to find, unfortunately, because of costs of like assisted living facilities, we're starting to see sometimes some reversals taking place, where now we are actually taking people and bringing them back out into a small apartment because our costs are so much more affordable. So instead of just bringing them to an ALF, we're actually finding where we have relationships with ALFs where they say we need somebody that can still give them compassionate care. And then, of course, we have the same thing where we're able to reverse it and do it the other way.
Are
those quotation marks?
No, I don't know what they are. They always tell me, you're running out of time. You're running out of time. Well, this article that you did write, of course, in our December issue, Jim, de-stress the holidays with seniors helping seniors. For those of you who are going through some emotional trauma right now, maybe you've lost a spouse, you've lost family members, these are companions at the same time.
They are.
These are not full nurses, by the way. We've never really stressed that.
No,
this is a companion service.
These are people who have spent their life caring and loving for other people. These are people that want to move up, pay it forward. We're close in age, but not we're maybe a generation apart, but they understand, they have the empathy for a senior that a lot of our younger people have sympathy, but not empathy.
Well, something too, I was thinking we're going to be having Engelbert Humperdinck. We're doing an interview with him. And you could say that to a young person. They'd say, Engelbert, who? Humperdinck? What's that?
Right. Yeah.
But you could say it to the older person. They really? When
Absolutely.
are we going to listen? Right?
Yeah.
So we've talked about that.
Yeah. People know. I mean, they know. They know who Frank Sinatra was. They know what World War II was about. They understand the plights and even they've heard, I'm amazed. My grandmother, when I was 5 years old, my great-grandmother, when I was 5 years old, she said, Jimmy, you know what happened when I was 5 years old? I said, what, Gram? She goes, Lincoln was shot.
So she was around.
So
Lincoln
I was
shot.
1 degree of separation from that time in history.
Yeah.
Which just blows me away. And so that connection is what's...
So can I start calling you Jimmy?
Sure, you can call me Jimmy.
Jimmy, I
You can
love
call me
this. Jimmy Hansen. Listen, forget the Jim. It's Jimmy. Oh, my goodness. This is, I've had you on the show so often. This is the best show.
It must be the coffee.
No, it must be Mother Teresa's watching over us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There you go.
Right?
There you
Saint.
go.
No, so we have to decide what we're going to call her. Saint. No, I don't want to call her Saint Mother. She's Mother Teresa. She just happens to be Saint.
ST. Yeah. SMT.
So thanks,
Saint Mother
Jim,
Teresa.
so much. Phone number to call and to get more of this good stuff is 561-392-4846, or go to their website, seniorshelpingseniors.com, and he really means it. Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh, thank you.
I love this. We'll be back.